including good succession planning and training and development, that take account of the way the organisation and the profession are evolving. A PAIB in a small business may well have responsibility for HR management. Communication skills have long been a known requirement for accountants, especially the ability to frame a simple explanation of a complex point. Communication increasingly needs to be tailored to specific audiences, stakeholders and business partners. In more senior positions, political considerations may condition the way a point may be presented successfully. A rapidly emerging theme in communications arises in various recent corporate governance reforms responding to the financial crisis, in which issues of sustainability and stakeholder governance assume prominence. IFAC is currently participating in a major initiative to develop a framework for integrated reporting and performance. There's a big challenge for CFOs here to show the connections between external sustainability pressures and long-term organisational strategy, and it needs to be on your agenda. In summary, our traditional skills and instincts need expanding to meet these expectations. And if we don't have all the attributes, at least we can build teams that do. As we realised when we tried to catalogue the roles and domains of the PAIB back in 2005, they cover such a broad spectrum of jobs, levels, types of organisation, that classifying them is difficult and risks inadvertent omission or oversimplification. Incompetent and versatile, we chose instead to provide a high-level summary of aspects of sustainable success that PAIBs deliver or facilitate: creating, enabling, preserving, and reporting on sustainable value. The upper and lower halves of this diagram indicate the need to give organisational performance as much attention as conformance or compliance with rules and procedures, a view we've championed since our 2004 publication, Enterprise Governance: Getting the Balance Right. I'll flesh out each quadrant with illustrative activities, but with a warning that activities chiefly associated with one quadrant probably also involve aspects of the others. Most accountancy jobs involve all four at some time, and probably always do in small businesses. Creating value comes from the PAIB's engagement in leadership and strategy, aided by sound business cases, for example, in acquisitions, and by setting the right performance goals, both in terms of level and metrics. The enabling role engages PAIBs at all levels. It's about using their analytical skill and financial focus to leverage the activities of colleagues in other disciplines and departments. It arises through excellent decision support analysis, helping avoid the suboptimal by challenging doubtful assumptions, showing where scope for efficiency can be found, and so on. The value preservation role covers the areas like risk control, audit, fraud detection that have long been the conventional domain of the professional accountant. But the point of the diagram is to present these important contributions in the more rounded context of being just one of four major areas of engagement. Reporting on value is also a traditional accountancy professional role. It's not only about external reporting for shareholders and regulators, but about telling managers what's happened in a way that makes sense to them and on which they can take action. Like value preservation, we've classified this area in the conformance half of our diagram. One shouldn't be misled by this, though. It may also offer scope to create added value by paying better attention to particular stakeholders' specialised requirements, or using better technology to improve presentation and distribution. But the chief opportunity is to ensure that while compliance needs are met, reporting truly captures what has happened to value and its sustainability, so that managers can respond correctly. The four quadrants I've mentioned here can be regarded as the four cornerstones of the contribution of professional accountants in business, setting their domain directly in the context of sustainable value creation in organisations and the vital counterbalance of performance and conformance. We hope this presentation of the role will be helpful, especially in engaging with non-accountants and with accountants in practice. It is highly simplified, but that's the point. It's a deliberate attempt to convey a very broad range of activity, imaginatively and relatively simply. As an aside here, I have heard it suggested that the hard times I started off by describing make now a particularly good time to capitalise on the important strengths of our profession. Well, yes, but this appealing thought does risk underselling ourselves. The thesis of Competent and Versatile is that the PAIB is a valuable asset to the organisation at any time. While current circumstances may favour our skill set, we shouldn't encourage the notion that accountants only need to be trotted out when times are bad. The organisations that will survive recession are probably those who already took their PAIB's advice as pursuers of value creation in the good times and had integrated ways to recognise and manage the risks that threaten everyone when the time for tightening the belt occurred. While increasing understanding of the role of the PAIB is central, the committee also focuses on these 5 topic areas. They are the globally most significant aspects of the PAIB's domain in business and public sector organisations. I have just appointed topic champions from the committee to lead our work through task forces in each of these areas. Our output consists mainly of special reports, analysis and commentary based on survey questionnaires or interviews with selected professionals from around the world, and a series of international good practice guidance based on principles. Recent good practice guidance has focused on evaluating and improving practice in areas like costing, investment, appraisal and governance that are critically important but have already been extensively written about. Our most recent special reports include our questionnaire-based global survey on risk management and internal control, drawing on over 600 responses from around the world. It reveals a strong consensus in favour of convergence of the various codes and guidance on internal control around the globe. We've also just reissued the IFAC Sustainability Framework, which shows how PAIBs and entities of all sizes can help integrate sustainability into their organisation's DNA. In 2008, our report on the crucial roles of professional accountants in business in mid-sized enterprises explored how emphasis and importance of the professional accountant's role changes as a business evolves from small to large enough to go public. It remains a challenge for us to serve small organisations adequately, despite the sector's huge importance in most economies, which I mentioned in my opening comments. IFAC does have another committee devoted to supporting smaller accountancy practices who provide much advice to SMEs, but they are looking to us for useful material. Our experience is that the big thorny issues at the leading edge tend to be articulated in the large corporate sector, yet it remains an important challenge and growing one to think small first. After all, if we could double or treble the successful survival rate of small startups, it could have an absolutely transformational effect on economic growth. We try to ensure that we produce material only where the international perspective we bring clearly adds value and for which there is a real need, recognising that IFAC member bodies come in a wide range of size and maturity with correspondingly different needs for support. As I said earlier, giving that support is our objective. IFAC member bodies are its prime stakeholders and customers. Individual PAIBs are their members, not ours. IFAC is not equipped to interface directly with individual professionals.